Do you ever eat dripping in this country? The fats from roast and such, kept congealed in a jar, and then used like butter on bread and toast.
Sounds like something you'd feed the dog.
Yes, it is. Only the poorest families ever ate it. We used to keep ours in a large blue crockery jar.
Your family ate dripping?
No, of course not. No, as I say, only the poorest families. God, it's ironic.
What is?
I've spent much of my life outrunning the past. And now it floods all over me. There's something about the openness of your face that makes me want to tell the truth. Yes, our family ate dripping. Beef dripping. And 4 to a bed. And a privy out back in the alley. Are you also from the slums, Mr. Boone?
We weren't rich, but we weren't poor either.
No, well, you were middle class. Like all Americans.
Well, I don't know, I guess you could say we lived on the wrong side of the tracks.
Well, in Dudley, in the north of England, there were more sides to the tracks than any American could imagine. Every Englishman knows his place, and if you forget, there's always someone to remind you. Our family had no doubt about who they were, but I was an aberration in that household, a freak of nature. I had imagination, cleverness, joy. Where did I get that? Certainly not from them. They took me out of school when I was 14 and put me in a factory. They meant no harm. They were like a family of farmers who've been given a giraffe and don't know what to do with the creature except to harness him to the plow. Hatred was the only thing that kept my soul alive in that soul-killing place. And amongst the men I hated was my own poor, dear, dumb father, who'd put me into that hell in the first place. You might not think it to look at me now, but there was a time when I was at the very pinnacle of my profession. The horror movies were behind me. I'd made Showboat, major success, big box office. So now I was to do something important. The picture was called The Road Back. It was an indictment of the Great War and what it did to Germany. It was going to be my masterpiece.
What happened?
The fucking studio butchered it. They took the guts out of my picture. They brought in another director to add some slapstick. And the movie laid an egg. A great, expensive bomb for which I was blamed. And after that, I was out of fashion. I could no longer command the best projects. So I walked away. Why should I spend my time working in this dreadful business?
Do you miss it?
Oh, it was all so long ago. 15 years. Making movies is the most wonderful thing in the world. Working with friends, entertaining people. Yes, I suppose I miss it. But I chose freedom. David, of course, was still in the thick of it. A life chock-a-block with anxiety and studio intrigue. I didn't fancy spending my golden years as the friend. So I finally drew down the curtain and closed the show. And when the fetters are loosened, certain hedonism creeps in, don't you think? Oh, there was a time when this house was full of young men. Some of them even posed for me, right where you're sitting now. Of course, they weren't nearly so bashful. Oh, no, this studio was full of bare buttocks and pricks. Hard, arrogant pricks.
Just cut it out, okay? Isn't it bad enough that you've told me you're a fucking fairy, and now you gotta rub my face in it?
Mr. Boone, I assure you, I didn't mean...
Fuck this! I can't do this anymore! From now on, I'm just a guy that cuts your lawn. Got it?
Oh, there may be no atheists in the foxholes, but there are occasionally
lovers. You're talking through your hat now.
No, I'm not. I was in the foxholes myself.
You were a soldier.
I was an officer in the trenches.
Was this World War I?
No, my dear, the Crimean War. Well, what do you think? The Great War. There were trenches when I arrived and trenches when I left 2 years later. Just like in the movies, only the movies. They never get the stench of it all. The world reduced to mud and sandbags and a narrow strip of rainy sky. What were we talking about? Oh. Love in the trenches. Barnett. Is that his name? Leonard Barnett. He'd come straight to the front from school. From Harrow. And he looked up to me. Wasn't like the others. He didn't care that I was a working-class man impersonating my betters. How strange to be admired so blindly. I suppose he loved me. I remember one morning in particular. A morning when the sun came out. It's odd how even there were days when the weather was enough to make one happy. He and I stood on the fire step. I was showing him the sights of no man's land. It was beautiful. Beautiful. And I was shoulder to shoulder with a tall, apple-cheeked schoolboy who loved me. And trusted me. I want you to wear this.
Why?
Just so that I can see the artistic effect. You know, your very human body against the inhuman mask. Oh, very striking.
I don't know.
Oh, come on, Clayton. Just for a minute, just so that I can see the effects.
From the First World War, isn't it?
Yes, yes. It fastens round the back. Let me help you.
Now what? All right, let's take it off.
What?
It's too tight. I can't breathe.
Oh, leave it. I'll help. Leave it to me.
Well, can you?
I'm still here.
Mr. Will.
You want stealing muscles? You've got
Take the fucking mask off me now, okay?
solid brute. You are.
Oh, hey, just get your fucking hands off me!
It's no use, Clayton. I can't hear you.
Hey!
I can't hear
Hey,
a word.
hey.
Oh, well then, maybe this.
Hey! Oh!
Yes! Now I've got you.
Off me!
How will you ever get yourself back?
Like I told you, I'm not that way! Get through your fucking head, all right?
Yes, good. Diddly mistake. It's all right, tell my friends about this when they be surprised.
I haven't done anything with you.
You undressed for me. I've been kissing you. I even touched your prick. How will you ever be able to live with yourself?
What do you want from me?
I want you to kill me. Break my neck and strangle me. It was so easy to choke the life out of me. Come on, Clayton. We've come this far. I'm losing my mind. Every day a new piece of it goes, and soon there'll be none of it left. But if you kill me, death will be bearable. You could be my second monster. Come on, please, do it now. Make me invisible.
I am not your monster!
You're a bloody pussycat. My deepest apologies. Will you ever forgive me? No, I suppose not.